Hi guys, welcome back to Celestial Invitational. My name is D2. With me is Kaldi. We are not the Chinese catchers on the screen that you see. I do believe that is Montage on the left, by the way, a popular Chinese streamer. In any case, we are going to be having our fifth match of the day between Dog and Kimmy coming up next. Kimmy obviously at 0-2 after losing twice versus Tyson Braros, whereas Dog is at 1-1 after his thrilling loss versus Tice and his win versus Braros. So we're going to take a look at those decks right now, and let's see what we have for us in store for us today. And looks like it's going to be a mech type. Well, not really a mech shaman. Going to be a mid-range shaman. I saw the Noitron, got a little bit confused there. But yeah, more mid-rangey with that Dr. Boom and the Alec here in there. Did you get a chance to take, or did you? I am stumbling over my words today. Sorry about that, guys. Caldi, did you get a chance to look at the Paladin and the Druid?
I did not, but let's look at the Kimmy stacks here. We're looking at another mid-range shaman, looking at the Zulok, and we're looking at the what looks to be a very this is to be a tempo mates with water elementals. Very interesting.
Right. Yeah.
But to talk about before though, it was very interesting to see what I would consider ancestral healing in shaman, which not something you see every day. But yesterday we had a scenario where Xiao Xin was automatically eliminated for game number 5. But in this case, though, Kimmy is not out of it. He did win 2 games in both of his matches against Tice and Braros. So if Kimmy beats Dog and Tice beats Braros, then Kimmy could possibly advance in a 3-way tie. So there is still merit for him to play and keep going. As I mean, Dog isn't through and Braros isn't through. It's going to be very tough, but he at least has a strong tiebreaker here.
Yeah, definitely. That said, we do have 3-2s for everyone who has played so far, so it's going to be taking, obviously, a different score for any of these players to escape, having the tiebreaker go all the way to, basically tossing a coin in the end, which is the last tiebreaker, if you're not aware, guys. It basically goes down to game difference, then the amount of games won, and then after that, head-to-head record. And if there's a 3-way tie in that situation as well, then we actually do a drawing of lots to see who will eventually take it. In any case, we are going to be getting into this game right away. And Dog with the Paladin, Kimmy with the Zulok here. And typically this favors the Paladin if they're playing Secret Paladin, but this could be a mid-range version. The only thing I see in his hand that indicates that it is Secret Paladin would be that Hana Creeper. But what do you think here, Kali?
I think it's looking like, to me at least, kind of like a mid-range Paladin. It seems to me to be like that. But yeah, it's about as good as it gets here for the Paladin. Close to perfection. Kills the Flame Imp in the beginning with the mini bot. Has the method to follow it up. Even as a cog hammer now. So the Imp Gangbusters challenge this, but there's no 4-drop here for Kimmy. So if he has to tap and play a 2-drop. Whereas if Dog can just turn that around, kills on the Creeper now. I think I'm really liking Dog's position here. Also on top of that, he has the Consecrate in his deck, whereas the Zulok generally doesn't have AoE.
Right, that's typically the Zulok that can't afford to run any sort of Hellfire. Though we did see that early in the day. But yeah, like you say, basically they rely on minion-to-minion combat to do their dirty work for them and clear the board. In this situation, Kimmy finds himself a bit behind, though. He is in an okay spot, considering that he has the Imp Game boss to start developing those 1-1s for him. Let's see what Dog can do to mitigate the pressure from the Imp Game boss. And then a Keeper of Ultimate is pretty good in this situation.
It really is, yeah. It's also strong in the late game. It's a versatile card. It's probably my favorite card of the expansion so far. I'm looking forward to Murgleton, but Uldaman just seems exactly what Paladin needed. Not that they were struggling before, but with Uldaman on top of it, just really, I think there's no doubt that Paladin is the strongest class right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so many things in its arsenal to be able to combat whatever is thrown its way. That's why you see so much on the ladder these days, dominating in that aspect, and not even just the Secret Paladin, the mid-range Paladin is strong as well. I think we're getting closer and closer to being able to say that this is that mid-range Paladin, considering we haven't seen any secrets thus far. The only strange thing so far is that Haunted Creeper, but maybe just looking to be able to deal with aggro a bit better.
Hmm. I mean, it's sometimes when I actually. What do you think about double abusive and going for the juggler there? I felt the juggler wasn't going to get a better chance than this turn right here.
Maybe Kimmy's going to be a bit greedy and wait for that implosion later on. That could be very, very powerful in the future. But, I mean, the Lotheb does contest the board pretty well, so it's kind of an okay situation right now. However, Dog does have a way to kill it with a 3-1 and the 2-1 and play his own Sludge Belcher to basically take control of the board. So, yeah, you could be right in that sense, but Dog doesn't go for it. Goes for the Cog Hammer, gets an okay land on that Haunted Creeper.
For what me, at least what I was thinking in terms of it, if he went for it last turn, he gets 4 juggles guaranteed.
Mm.
And he also, there's 3 minions with 1 health that would be good to juggle against. But now, I mean...
We might see a lot of juggles from both sides, actually, right here. And I don't know if Kimmy wants to... Well, it looks like he's going to develop the Knife Juggler and the Void Walker. I can't... Oh, actually pops it right away.
And he kills the opponent's...
Wow, okay, these knives are going to be all over the place. Hits the Knife Juggler. Knives coming back. Hits Dog in the face.
Misses. Wow. Misses again.
Wow, that is very unfortunate for Kimmy in that situation. And they're gonna see if he can't just get him. Wow!
Misses again.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Throws out the well played. That is very well played, but not very well played by that Knife Juggler. Unfortunately, finally gets a 1-1. Can't even snipe off the 2-1 mini bot.
Dog here just laughing. I mean, Kimmy. I feel so bad for him. He was behind before, but this was just his turn to get back into this and. This is just going to fall apart here so quickly. Hits with a juggle.
Yeah, Dog's juggler is on point, but fortunately Kimmy's is not. Looks like we're probably going to see everything going to the face after this, and all of a sudden Kimmy's at 12 health. How did this happen?
Even picks up the Mount Guinness. Probably the worst mini, and Kimmy's almost just out of their stance. But oof.
Wow. Yeah, Kimmy is just devastated right now. Throws away the Mal'Ganis because he has to get back on the board here. I feel like he has to tap unless he's dead on board. He's not dead on board, is he? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, he is dead on board if he does tap. Okay. So, yeah, this is looking pretty over because Kimmy can't even tap at this point.
Nope. Sadly, he cannot. And this is looking close to lethal. Okay, let's say, Conjugate now. It's definitely lethal.
Is lethal, yeah.
Dog taking game number 1 here. Looking to be in a good position to advance. Has the Shaman, the Druid left. Both players have the Shaman left though, a mid-range type of Shaman. I actually feel like Kimmy is in a better position to get the win with the Shaman because Dog has the Druid and the Shaman is generally supposed to be good against the Druid, but with the Darnassus on top of it, it's looking better and better.
Right, yeah, Druid does a lot better these days against Shaman than it used to. If you guys aren't aware of the history of how the matchups work back in the day, Shaman was considered a counter to Druid, but nowadays Druid having improved over the several expansions has gone through, where Shaman hasn't really gotten that much stronger. It's gotten to be a much more even matchup. We aren't going to get that matchup right away. We're actually going to be seeing Dog's Druid go against Kimmy's Zoolock once more, and this is a favorite matchup for the Zoolock.
It is. Now, I think the egg is okay to keep. But Kimmy decides he wants the 1-drop over everything else. Gets a decent hand though. Powerwhelming is really, really, really strong. Now, it just comes down to the Druid hand generally, and if the Warlock falls completely flat, that can have an effect. But yeah, Innovate, Darnassus, and he has everything. Wow. I feel like Dog can't get a bad beat today. I mean.
This is absolutely amazing for a Dog. He's going to be able to innovate into a Sludge Belcher, most likely. That could be the Druid Claw as well to play around Power Overwhelming. But yeah, it looks like he is going to go for the Druid Claw to play around Power Overwhelming just a bit. But Kimmy can potentially deal with that if he uses Knife Juggler or the Abusive Sergeant. We'll see what he goes for. But regardless, I mean, Dog is just having a really good start right now.
has to be. I kind of feel like he actually has to go for the juggler just to get that chance. I mean,
Well, we know
he
that
does.
we know
He can.
Kimmy's juggler just likes to go face, right? I mean, Kimmy's juggler hates getting the right target. That is the most
That is
sporky
true.
juggler.
Yeah.
But
But now, Kimmy is behind, and he needs to take a chance. I feel it is
yeah,
safer to go for the
absolutely.
abusive, but I think it's not the winning play. The scenario where Kimmy is winning with being this far behind, I think, is with the juggler, but he
It
decides to
doesn't
play it
have
safe.
faith. Yeah, just decides to go for the safe play and clear, guaranteed. But gets the weaker minion on board with that abusive sergeant, and obviously doesn't play on curve as well. Dog does have the wild growth to be able to curve into his further plays down the road, but still, I mean, what can Kimmy do to come back here? He could play the implosion on curve here. He could also go for the knife juggler with the Honda creeper to try to get the juggle, excuse me. But yeah, with Kimmy's luck,
I want to
I
actually,
guess you
yeah.
just go for the safe play with Kimmy's luck.
I want to say again, this is again where he doesn't take the risk. If he had gone for the juggler, it's a 50-50 chance that he can kill the Darnassus and having the implosion left with the juggler on board. Yeah, this is just. I think he should be taking more risks, honestly. If you're behind, you take risks. If you're ahead, you can play safe. That's just not something Kimmy is really embodying here.
Right, and this Doom Guard is pretty nice for Kimmy. Obviously, he has to, throw away two cards and able to use it, but it's a pretty big tempo swing. Dog forced to use a swipe to clear it up, but that leaves Kimmy with only one card in hand. Obviously, that's something that can be remedied if you're the Zoo because of that hero power, but from here on out, going to be hurting himself just to be able to stay in the game.
I mean, if this is a scenario where you want to have 3 minions on board, you want to have your opponent at like 20 health and be hitting for 5 or 6 per turn, having him struggle to get back into it. Just one gang boss is not enough. And
Right, and
going
then
to be looking
Ancient
at
of
probably
War,
the
yeah.
Ancient of War. I mean, what can he do here?
Ancient of War quite a bit bigger than the M King boss, unfortunately for Kimmy. Does pick up the Doom Guard, but no Void Caller to be able to get that out without discarding, unless he just plays his entire hand right here.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it has to be the juggler this turn.
Yeah, just plays both King bosses. It's a pretty annoying board for Dog to deal with. Obviously, he has the bigger minion here, but it's kind of annoying for him to start dealing with its King bosses. We could see him go to face, though, however, just to sidestep this altogether.
Absolutely here. Now, he has the Keeper and he has the Joe to the Claw. I think Keeper is really strong here. I think he can afford also to save the Big Game Hunter.
Right. Yeah, I mean, one thing to consider about the Keeper is that, maybe your opponent makes some huge Void terror, but he does have the BGH to be able to take out anything too big. And so I kind of like using the Keeper here. I would like to see Dog go face, honestly, just because it puts so much pressure on his opponent.
I mean, he doesn't have any combo, so there's no rush really for him. There is a bigger chance for Kimmy to come back on board if he doesn't trade. This also doesn't give him any value out of the hero power, but I mean, it's a tough call. I feel like, yeah, if you dog in this position, you can play safe. If you are behind, you could maybe go for something like the Big Game Hunter and try to get
Yeah.
lethal, but
The thing is, you've already
with
seen one. You've seen a Power Overwhelming, you've seen an Abusive Sergeant, and you've seen a Doom Guard. Obviously, we see two more of those cards in the hand of Kimmy, and a really bad draw with this Mal'Ganis. I might have to discard this once more. But, yeah, you've seen a lot of ways to buff up creatures. So, maybe... I mean, Dog, just putting on the pressure, I kind of like it. But, yeah, actually, Kimmy is going to have to throw all three creatures into here. He's going to be left with two Imps, as well as a 5/2 Doom Guard, and a heavy price to get through this Ancient of War. Dog is in the driver's seat, absolutely. Even picks up the Living Roots to deal with that Doom Guard pretty easily. And would you even charge face with the Druid's Claw here?
I don't think you need to, and there's no reason to do that. I think you don't have to be in a hurry to finish this off. I mean,
Right.
dog,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
maybe
You
streaming
can
later,
definitely play
but
safe
yeah.
here. Yeah, just clear out the board. Play it. Oh, he is gonna go face. Never mind. Just kidding. Yeah. I mean, it is a lot of damage, and it basically mitigates the hero power from the Warlock. Not able to, use the hero power very much more at all. He's also seen Mal'Ganis, so there's not much that, Kimmy can do here.
And the owl shows up to add insult to injury here. The turn after the Ancient of War dies. This is comical, honestly, that this is happening. Now it shows up.
Yeah, silencing charge doesn't really help when it's already on the board, unfortunately. And we might even see lethal here if he draws the right card. Is that lethal?
It
It is lethal actually.
is. Nah.
Yeah, because he's 6 damage from the Druid of the Claw. Just use your face
Yes,
and.
there's 3 taunts and 3 attacks.
Oh, right. I totally did not see that. I totally just blanked on that Void Walker on the left side. I'm sorry,
It's
but
not golden, so yeah,
yeah,
it's how
it
it
wasn't
goes.
shiny and sparkling like the other two minions. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, just blanking here. I'm just bloodthirsty, Kaldi. I just want to go face and finish this game.
I don't blame you. So no Mal'Ganis to come back from here. Void Walker.
Yeah, Void Walker, it's not gonna help too much. This Doctor Boom, if they were all taunts, maybe, but yeah, that's going to be it. Kimmy just with such horrible. I mean, just the draws and the rolls on everything that's happened to him today. It's just been
Still,
just a
like
disaster.
I feel like he had 2 options to get back ahead in this game
Hmm.
with the juggles hitting. One of them was a 1 in 3. One of them was a 50% chance. He took neither of them, and he didn't take the risks, and he just stayed behind. And you'd have to take risks if you are behind and you wanna get back into the game. You can't just be playing middle of the way and playing safe. If you play safe, you generally don't win if you're behind. You just kind of keep the position you have already. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, he did get a rough. I mean, Dog's hand was just completely amazing, but Kimmy didn't take the chances needed.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely have to echo that sentiment that you have there. I mean, if it's not your day, it's not your day. You kind of have to take a risk at a certain point, though. I mean, if you miss the juggles, if you miss the the implosions, if you miss all those things, then maybe it just isn't your day. But I think you kind of have to go for it. Otherwise, you're consigning yourself to just losing slower in that position. But we
I
are
actually,
going to. Sorry, go ahead.
I actually had a scenario yesterday. I was playing against Uber JJ where I was playing Sue against Control Warrior, and I had my whole board brawled on turn 5. Uh, and in that case, 3 turns later, I had a chance to potentially play around Big Game Hunter and play safe, or go for a 12-12 Void Terror because I had 2 Power Bombings in hand.
Hmm.
But anyhow, I did end up going for the Void Terror because I felt I was so far behind that the only scenario that I was going to be winning was if my Void Walkers could keep this Void Terror alive. And it did end up getting Big Game Hunter, but I still, again, even being in the same position again, I would again go for the same decision. But now the Totem Golem into the Haunted Creeper, this is so strong. I wonder if he goes for the Power Bombing or what here. Dark Peddler coming out for Kimmy. Oof.
Yeah, Kimmy going a bit all in there with the 1-drop into 1-drop, hoping he drew a 2-drop. Dark Peddler 1 turn too late, unfortunately for him. And yeah, this Totem Golem is going to start, commanding the board right now. However, the Imp King boss is a really nice pickup here. Kimmy able to trade back into that Totem Golem. And now
Yeah,
Dog
I
in
think
kind
he,
of an
yeah.
awkward spot here.
Am I crazy enough to consider a hex on the MCAN boss?
Yeah, I think it
I
might
don't
be a little
know.
bit too early for that. Actually, Dog doesn't clear the 1-1. Instead clears the 2-1 in order to get both of his Spectral Spiders out. Really interesting play. Wanting more damage onto the field there. Maybe he hopes that his opponent will trade into him. Also has that Lightning Storm, but if he commits to the Lightning Storm this coming turn, then he obviously won't be able to play the Fire Elemental on the following turn after that. So going to be a difficult set of decisions for Dog. Obviously depends on the card that he gets in the next turn as well.
Yeah, it looks like he probably went for the Mortal Coil, I would have thought.
Yeah,
Right?
it looks like he does go
Yeah.
for the Mortal Coil. Might as well draw a card here. I mean, the taunt isn't the greatest here as well. So you might as well just draw deep into your deck, which is usually better than the options that you have in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like a Undercity Valiant here, but he also drew a card, you know.
Wow.
Not too bad here.
Yeah, that is an amazing top deck for Dog, though. Getting that Azure Drake, obviously it's not a mech, so it doesn't really help too much with regard to the power mace, but has something to play, a strong minion to draw a card and get onto the field, and he's able to play his Fire Elemental next turn.
Yeah, I like Kimmy's decision of not going for the Power Bombing here. I think it's not time yet. Now, Dog has options though, for sure. Has the Fire Elemental. How is he gonna play this out though? I think I think he has to just end up killing this Azure Drake, but that leaves Kimmy with the option to just power up on the imp and get a lot of things done here.
Yeah, definitely. Tough decision for Dog here. I mean, I wouldn't blame him for just killing the imp and hitting the face with the Azurgic, especially with that both the Fire Elemental and the Lightning Storm in hand to be able to deal with something in the future, or deal with future minions in the future for Kimmy. But yeah, really tough. Obviously, you don't want to be throwing away your Azurgic for nothing. You want to be forcing your opponent to deal with it because it usually is such a huge threat. Looks like Dog having some issues with the lag, and oh, looks like he actually did pick up a Sludge Belcher that we couldn't see in his hand in the previous turn. Obviously picked that up with the Azure Drake, so I'm gonna go for that rather than going for the Fire Elemental. Even though it's off curve, he realizes that this prevents the Lothar from getting a good trade on board, and maybe he can finish it off with the Fire Elemental. Doesn't want to give up that Drake just yet.
I actually think that Owl here would be very strong on the Belcher. The Owl, the Belcher, you can kill the Azure Drake as well, and would leave you with a lot of options. You could go Owl, Power Warming, and Egg. That's what I would have done in this situation. Like Kimmy may have not thought this completely through. Now the follow-up has to be Implosion on the 1-2. But I felt like killing the 1-2 with the Implosion isn't the strongest because it also leaves you vulnerable to Lightning Storm.
Yeah, and you really can't afford to go for Implosion onto the Azure. I guess he could go for Implosion on the Azure Drake right now, but that would involve potential. Oh, even gets the 4. So interesting. So he's able to clear up this board in this situation. Didn't go for the Implosion on the Azure Drake. Didn't deem it safe enough. But yeah, had he gone for that, he would have had to use the Owl in order to finish that off potentially. Doesn't go for it in the end. Dog now has the ability to go for Lightning Storm, but if he does do that, that's basically his entire turn.
He could also possibly heal, but I think to talk about risk and when to take risk, Kimmy in this game was in no position. He was even, at least maybe even slightly ahead, so he didn't need to take a big risk by, implosioning the Azure Drake. There was no need to do that. He could just as well, implosion the 1-2. But if he had been way behind, he may have needed to go for something like that and save the power warming.
Yeah, definitely. So it looks like Dog is going to go for the Lightning Storm. Guarantees kills his entire board. Doesn't commit to the Healing Wave. Wants to develop the board a bit with that Totem as well. He could have gone for the Fire Elemental to kill off the Lothar. The 4/1/1 imps weren't too scary, I don't believe, but instead decides to go for the Lightning Storm. And now Dog left with only 6 mana. Again, going to have a pretty empty turn. Likely going to just be a Hex and Totem, I believe.
That is true, yeah. It's just, I think Kimmy is ahead here, to be sure, but I think another thing to mention is the map score. And now, if Kimmy wins this 3-2, that probably won't be a good enough map score to win a 3-way tie. I wouldn't think so. Even though he has 7 wins, he also has 8 losses and 7-8. It's not the best score. He would have needed, I think, a 3-1 or something here. But of course, you never give up and you keep going. Beating Dog here on TV would be a great start for Kimmy's career.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously playing for a bit of pride, if not for the very outside chance of getting into the final 8. But yeah, every single game could potentially matter, so he's going to keep playing it out. And Dog eventually has to go for the Totem and the Hex, keeping with his plan of not using the Healing Wave until it's absolutely necessary. And now he's finally going to be able to use all of his mana next turn. We'll see how he ends up using it. And Kimmy, having seen that Lightning Storm earlier, going to flood up the board.
One thing I mentioned, I probably would like to see the Imp Gang Boss on the left, because the same idea behind we were talking about the Shaman yesterday. You want to get the 1/1 token to be possibly buffed. I mean, there's only the Sweater possibly to buff it, but we have the Void Caller. He can force out the Doomguard, potentially.
Right. Forcing out the other Void Caller isn't too bad either. And obviously, it's kind of a risk whether you tap right now or not, because you could get a weaker demon as well. So risks kind of abound in this situation. Looks like Kimmy's going to stick to his plan of playing extremely safe and guaranteeing that he gets out the Doomguard. And yeah, that's going to come out here. No Hex for Dog, obviously, because he used it already. See where these boom bots land. Goes to the face. Kimmy just with Just can't not buy a break in this situation. And gonna play the owl as well, realizing that there's not many things to silence. Dog kind of scratching his head, not in a great position. But Kimmy finally taking complete control here.
Yeah, I mean he's not worried about the storm because he has both the 7 health minion and the egg in this position here. I mean there is the possible merit to skipping the owl and
Oh,
tapping, but he doesn't get the heal. Of only heals for I believe it's 8, and
I
he
think
has
it's
the fire
7.
elemental, but it's not gonna be enough
Yeah,
on
I think
top
it's
of that.
7 or 14, which is kind of a strange number, right? But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
It's gotta be different, right? You know, Paladin healing for 6 and Druid for 8. I'm
yeah.
gonna put it at 7.
All right, so let's see what Kimmy picks up here. Is that lethal? That's going to be 2 damage off, unfortunately for him. Can play the Void Terror and the Doom Guard here, which is kind of nice. Can get a 3/5 and a 4/4 if he decides to eat the egg in the situation. And yeah, gonna.
Yeah, I mean, without elemental destruction, I don't see Dog really making the comeback here.
Ooh.
Now Kimmy is playing safe, and he is way ahead, and he can afford to. But he may want to be a bit careful in case there's going to be another potential lightning storm. There could be elemental destruction, it's very unlikely from Dog from Kimmy's position, but obviously we know that there is none for Dog.
Right. The one issue here is that Kimmy kind of wants to get this Void, or excuse me, this Doom Guard out in the field, so he can't actually attack with the Imp King boss until he gets that out there. Looks like he's not even going to attack with it at all into that Pile of Cheddar. Wants to
Yeah.
get that. If he's gonna attack, he wants to get that imp, right? It doesn't want to just throw that ability away. And now Dog completely on the back foot. Such a huge board for him to contend with right now. And I don't imagine he has a way to get himself out of this. Has the Rock Biter, which he can use on the Shredder to kill the bigger Doom Guard. But yeah, wouldn't matter in the end. Dog's going to concede, and Kimmy bringing it back to a 1-game-to-2 score. Finally winning with his Zulok. Kimmy now with his Shaman and Mage left, and interestingly enough, if we do see a Shaman Mirror, it will be mid-range versus mid-range, not the aggro that we're used to.
Absolutely here, yeah. Kimmy taking the first win in this series. More Rocket Sharks here inbound. But yeah, he will need to beat this Shaman 3 times. He's already taken the first step to that. But he will also need to win the Shaman Mirror. And we're going to have that right up here. Golden Shaman versus non-Golden Shaman.
Oh, feels bad, man.
It
But
really does.
I Dog's deck, if I remember correctly, does have a bit more late game, whereas Kimmy's deck has the Bloodlust. So, gonna be imperative for both sides to get the board. Obviously, Kimmy wanting to finish the game out using that Bloodlust, whereas Dog just wants to prevent that from happening and just basically control things and make sure that he can use his board advantage to seal out the win.
Now, he's playing the Dual Scarab. I think that's really cool. I was playing some Shaman with Dual Scarab yesterday, and to actually get a big game hunter out of it, it's just a really strong card, the Dual Scarab. Because the Shaman 3 drops are so strong. You have Hex, you have Lightning Storm, for example,
What
you
about
have Feral
Farsight?
Spirits, or Farsight, yeah, but the Harvest Golem, you know, the old Doctor 3
The
is
old
being
Doctor
picked here.
3. So yeah, interesting thing in this matchup so far is that Dog immediately decided to use the Rockbiter weapon to clear out Kimmy's Tunnel Trug, and really interesting to see how Dog kind of approaches this, especially because Dog obviously doesn't know what kind of deck that Kimmy is running. So seeing this Jeweled Scarab and now seeing this Tuskar Totemic, you know, maybe he's starting to get a better idea of what kind of deck Kimmy is running, but overall, it's going to be difficult to sniff this one out.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, Doc has seen nothing but extreme aggression here
On the far side.
today out of the shamans, out of the Chinese shamans. So it's maybe safe for him to assume that this might potentially be an aggro shaman. But now it's looking pretty clear this is going to be mid-range. I would have thought from Kimmy if I was Doc. But now he can't clear with the storm, but he needs, I think, definitely a better board for
Yeah.
that. What about just Lothep?
Yeah, Lothep is pretty strong here, but looking at the board, typically you have some buffs from the Shaman. Obviously, there's that Flame Tongue Totem, which can be problematic, but typically you don't see as many buffs as you do in the Zoo, so a lot of times this Sludge Belcher does possibly a better job than Lothep of dealing with the board. Obviously, you can't, it doesn't trade up as well, but Dog taking a bit of a risk here, hoping that his Sludge Belcher can do the work.
That's true here. I guess yeah, we saw the bane of the shaman. Really, the problem was were the flame tongue totems that just sat in the hand again and again, because the players kept trading into the shaman, and the totems just were so awkward when that happened. Now, I kind of like the spider tank here. Yeah.
Yeah, both the Spider Tank and the Harvest Golem coming off those Jewel Scarabs, showing the power of that card, and coming up, kind of a turn late, but still pretty strong here. As for Dog, can play the Loatheb here, has some other options with the Flame Tongue Totem and the Haunted Creeper. Looks like he's going to forego the Loatheb right now, and just play out Totem plus the Haunted Creeper. Shaman can be pretty difficult to play in this situation, just because, it's hard to know when to maximize your hero power, hard to know when to go for, the tempo play, especially because Shaman is notorious for running out of cards pretty quickly. And I'm not sure how much Dog has played Shaman on the ladder. It's not something you would want to play if you want to rank up super high. So going to be difficult for both of these players to navigate this deck, since obviously it hasn't been something that's been seen in the meta very recently, particularly these mid-range decks.
No, Kimmy is definitely playing more aggressive here, and Dog seems to be playing more for the late game. And I like Dog's point of view, because he's thinking, okay, I have the Storm. If I'm really far ahead on board, my Storm won't be good. If I'm a bit behind and playing more for the late game, it'll be a better scenario for me. So I'm going to just sit back and get a lot of value through this and win this in the late game, because there is no huge burst wave coming here. I really do respect that.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing to his hand, making sure that he makes the right play here, but has a pretty awkward turn, and this is one of the difficulties of Shaman, right? One of the best ways that you can draw cards is using this Manatee Totem, which oftentimes is basically just draw a card and heal for 3. And yeah, in this case, it might be a heal for 5, which is kind of nice, but not what you want to be getting out of a card that you stick in your deck.
It's a very important turn now for Kim. He has to use the totem. There's no other way around it. I think Counter Creeper Totem is probably stronger, but yeah.
Yeah, you could go for either. Could go for double totem here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the Haunted Creeper, which is a bit more annoying for Dog to deal with. And we're kind of on Bloodlust watch here, right? I mean, on the one hand, Dog wants to be continually clearing the board of Kimmy, and obviously he needs the card quality to be able to do that. But on the side of Kimmy, if he can draw that Bloodlust, he can do a lot of damage to his opponent and potentially seal out the game.
I mean, with Hex here, though, there is the potential to just clear a lot of this stuff. Hex plus Storm. You could also look at something like Loatheb plus 1 Flame Tongue Totem, killing the Loatheb. So you have your own Loatheb, and you're just facing the 3 small minions here from Kimmy.
Yeah, definitely both solid plays. Obviously, there's risk in both of them. You're playing the Hex here. If your opponent just follows up with a Doctor Broom, you feel pretty bad about that. And obviously, if you play the Loatheb and play the Flame Tongue Totem, sure, you get a good trade on the Loatheb, but then your opponent just kills your Flame Totem for free, quote unquote. But yeah, I do kind of like the latter play that you suggested. Even if your Flame Tongue Totem gets killed, that's kind of its purpose, right? You get its value in, and then you go from there. But it looks like he's not wanting to commit the Loatheb. I'm a bit surprised by this. I guess he feels like since it's his only minion in hand, he wants to get the maximum value out of it.
Oh, this is a strong play too, though. Oof.
Yeah, clears the entire board except for the Loatheb. And the Loatheb is capable of just killing off that Flame Tongue Totem again for pretty much free. Only thing he's losing is the opportunity cost to go face. But yeah, just kind of playing really conservative is Dog, whereas Timmy realizes he's the more aggressive deck, the deck that needs to be the beatdown and put the aggression on. So he's committing more to the board, only leaving behind that Big Game Hunter for potential kill on a Dr. Boom or Neptulon.
I mean, yeah, Kimmy has just been committing more to the board, and now he's kind of all in on this board here, winning him the game, and it's looking unlikely at this point. And Dog can just commit 2 totems from hand and 1 totem with the hero power, and clear at least the Loatheb. The healing totem is really strong for Kimmy, but okay, what about Flame Tongue Totem and Hex? Is that a possibility? You leave him only with the Totem Golem, and you have your own 1-2.
Yeah, I think Dog with the play last turn, he's kind of committing to not hexing this Lotheb, just because he feels like he doesn't have any answers for anything huge that could come out of Kimmy's deck. So I imagine he might kill the Lotheb the hard way using this Flame Tongue Totem, and maybe just put down his own Totem Golem to rival his opponent's board.
That is true here. I think Dog is ahead though in this game. I think he's been playing slightly greedier, and that's what he needs to do in these mirrored matchups. In Shaman versus Shaman, but yeah, if you were playing Hunter versus Hunter, for example, things would just fall apart. But yeah, I think he just may have made a mistake. I mean, hero powering over hexing here. I really don't respect that.
Hmm. Yeah, so let's see how aggressive Kimmy gets here. He could use a Lightning Storm just to... And look at Dog's face. It looks like he's pretty upset by that play, realizing that he's not going to be able to... Or he's not getting much done with his play. Yeah, so Kimmy not going to commit to Lightning Storm. Obviously, you're only killing totems, and so just going to start pushing damage to face rather than, killing off these totems. Realizes that the only thing that can buff these up from now on is maybe a Thunder buff Valiant, which is hard to fit in the deck, and something like a Defender of Argus, since he's seen both Flame Tongue totems. But yeah, I mean, Dog's on the back foot. It looks like he's not happy with his play thus far.
I mean, everything seems on point except the last hex, and now he gets it.
That is very painful. He had 3 turns that he could have hexed that and finally commits to it. Also, the Lotheb he could have played for so many turns now and finally picks his turn to do it.
I think the Lotheb turn now is, I think saving Lotheb until now is strong. But it just comes down, he also skipped the zombie chow. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't want to give a free attack from the Totem Golem onto a zombie chow, especially because he doesn't have anything to follow up to kill on that Totem Golem, something like the Fire Elemental. Dr. Boom is a pretty good pickup for Dog, however, it is going to be challenged by this Big Game Hunter, but that said, those Boom Bots are bigger than anything that we see on the side of Kimmy other than that Totem Golem, so it's still okay.
I mean, if you look at Earthshock on Lotheb, Lightning Storm, and then Big Game Hunter, it's looking good for Kimmy now.
So do you Lightning Storm this board? Obviously, I was mentioning it earlier with just a board of totems just to push damage to face, but do you commit to the Lightning Storm here when maybe you could see something bigger in the future?
I think you have to. It's now or never, really. The 6 minions on the board. It's crucial you go for the Earthshock first, though, on the Lotheb. You do get 2 bombs on yourself, but it's just so much worth it. It's so worth it here. If the Totem Golem survives, it's worth it. If not, then yeah, things tend to fall apart a bit.
Yeah,
but
so
the bombs here will be crucial.
Yeah, it's gonna go for it. Let's see where these bombs land. It's the Frog and the Totem.
Ooh.
Very good for Kimmy. Only clears a couple of minions that are pretty insignificant to him in the long run, and Dog obviously cannot be happy about that. Does have the Healing Wave, but it's a pretty dead card other than just keeping him from dying in the next few turns. Let's see what he does here. He can use that Rock Biter to clear out the Big Game Hunter, and can actually just play his whole hand out here. I imagine you just play the Healing Wave right now anyway. There's no reason not to. Not going to see anything like Alex Straza anyway.
He may be looking to possibly heal a minion with the Healing Wave.
Oh, right, yeah, that's
something
true
to consider. But with Flame Tongue here, you can clear the Totem Golem. Potentially. I mean, it
is pretty solid.
Oh, and he gets the Healing Totem. That's everything.
Healing Totem is very good here. The Zombie Chow still can trade into it, but it's pretty annoying otherwise. Can't kill it too easily. Can Dog. But yeah, this game is just completely back and forth. To be expected of a Shaman Mirror, obviously. But Dog, what could he be thinking here? He looks like he might be wanting to attack the Flame Tongue Totem. Wouldn't you just kill the Totem Golem right now?
It's tough. It really is. I think it's really just hard to tell. I think maybe it may have gone for the right play.
That is a huge draw right now.
Is everything though, but this matchup seems to be going around who gets the Storm and how good the Storms are. And Kimmy's Storm was strong, but they seem to be about the same. You kill small minions and you finish off Lotheb. It's happened for both players now.
Interestingly enough, you could use the Wrath of Air totem to kill off the Stoneclaw totem, and then Argus both the Flame Tongue and the Wrath of Air.
Hmm.
Looks like he's just gonna go for the Argus on both totems, and yeah, gonna get some damage onto the Haunted Creeper, realizing it's just gonna heal back up. And Dog now hoping or wishing that he had the Lightning Storm from way back. Oh, gets it though. Picks up the Lightning Storm. Will he get the spell damage totem? Gets the spell damage totem.
Oh,
Gonna
no,
guarantee
no,
clear
no.
everything on the right side. Let's see if he rolls high in his Azure Drake. Doesn't really matter too much because he can trade into it, and that is absolutely huge. Kimmy only has a Bloodlust in hand. Picks up a Pharaoh's Words, which is pretty good for him. One of the
Not bad, yeah.
not one of the better draws actually. But I mean, if Dog can continually clear the board of Kimmy, the Bloodlust could be a dead card.
It's sure this is what a crazy game. Shredder is not bad here at all. Does he get the totem, the taunt totem here? He does get the taunt totem. Oh my god, what is going on here? Totem
Wow.
Golem not bad, but not as good as the Paladin Shredder.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Pallet Shredder just trades into it and comes back again. Kimi looks like he's
Nothing
gonna.
to fear now. Yeah, I mean he had both storms, so nothing to fear now from Dog. The healing totem healing up Kimmy's wolf here.
That
And a
is a
fire
huge draw.
elemental! Oh my god, is Dog running away with this?
Absolutely massive. I mean, to be fair, Dog has the more dense deck, so this is to be expected coming out from his deck. And I mean, he was dealing with mediocre draws the entire game. Finally, is able to pick up something that he can use. And Kimmy again with this dead Bloodlust in hand can only deal 6 if he wanted to. Dog, let's see what he gets out of this totem. Gets a taunt totem once more.
And a Trog. I
Oh,
think
no.
though to consider, I mean, if Dog hadn't got the Lightning Storm value or not, he would have just been dead to Bloodlust.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I wonder if
So.
Kimmy is thinking that Dog may have Bloodlust, but I think at this point, Dog may be considering just Ancestral Healing his face.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you die, right? If it's Bloodlust. And the thing is, Dog has seen this card stuck in Kimmy's hand the entire time. He has to believe it's something like Bloodlust or maybe his own Ancestral Healing. And, yeah, it looks like he finally goes for the healing in order to help him out here. Big Game Hunter not going to lose to the Defender of Argus. I believe he went for his face, right? Not onto the Shredder. Yeah, just go for the
Believe so,
face. And, yeah, gonna be a trade here. Will it be something crazy? Nope. Just a tiny Knight of Evil. And Kimmy is on his last legs.
I don't know what he can do here. Yeah, it's a rough situation because the next totem is likely to be a healing totem. I mean, with Alec here now,
Yeah, he's probably just gonna use it here to do some trades. He can even, yeah, just take out this Shredder. Even if it were a Doomsayer, he'd be able to clear it out. And just has to, you know, do some house cleaning, decide which is the best trades. The worst thing that could happen for Dog here is the second Lightning Storm coming out from Kimmy. I think we've seen 2 from Dog, but only 1 from Kimmy so far. And obviously
is true.
Dog doesn't know for sure what kind of, or what he could be running. And, I mean, for all Dog knows, that card in Kimmy's hand could be Lightning Storm. There hasn't been a great use for Lightning Storm thus far, I don't believe. If you're from Dog's vantage point. But it looks like he's going to
he
leave
needs the
everything
Lightning
up.
Storm, yeah. Lightning Storm and a Wrath of Air totem here.
Yeah. Alright, so how much damage does Dog have? Looks like Kimmy's not even going to let us count, and he's going to concede. Dog is going to take the series 3-1, and that puts him at 2-1 as far as his overall score goes. And his game score is going to be +2 because of that last win right here. So Dog in an excellent position to move on. Kimmy, on the other hand, is eliminated 0-3 on the day. Alright guys, hold on one second. We might have Dog for an interview, so let's just add him to the group call. You can continue to watch the highlights if you desire. Hello?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Dog? How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Alright, so you are currently 2-1 in this group, and I believe you have a really good chance of making it out if Tice is able to win. How do you like your chances right now?
I think I make it through no matter what.
Do you?
I'm not sure though. Yeah, I think so because if Tice goes 3-1, then the other guy.
Well, if Tice
but
wins,
yeah.
you're through. If Tice wins, you're automatically through. If Bravo,
Okay, but if If
Bravos wins
Bravos
3-0.
if he wins 3-0, then Tice doesn't go through.
Oh, right. Okay, that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. All right, so uh, so apparently you're better at math than we are in determining this. But let's just get to the games. How did you feel having to bring online classes to this?
It was interesting and fun. I mean, I played all the classes before. Like I'm very diverse with what I can play, so I think it was pretty advantageous to me as opposed to some other players.
Right. It did look like it worked out pretty well for you. In the beginning, a player like Firebit was able to kind of thrive in the situation, whereas someone like Life Coach, who had less experience, kind of faltered a bit, though he did make it to the final round. What do you think about all the invited players just doing so well in this tournament? Currently, only Jay Shaw is the only person who was a Chinese qualifier to make it to the final 8.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It kind of sucks for them because like it's a LAN and all the Chinese players are going there, but everyone's playing online because none of the qualified players really made it through. I guess it just kind of goes to show how like I don't know, invited players are very good at what they do.
Right, yeah, it looks like Celestial did too good of a job inviting those players. Last question before, we have Caldy ask a question potentially. You brought a mid-range G Shaman, whereas a lot of people are kind of favoring the aggro Shaman since it's performed pretty well on ladder. Obviously, Reyna famously getting pretty high, as well as players like Luffy. What made you want to bring mid-range as opposed to something like an aggro Shaman?
I haven't had much success with aggro shaman, and in tournaments, I don't know. It seems like a deck that you use to target like handlock or something like that. And sure, you can cheese out wins, but usually it just doesn't work out for me. So I don't bring aggro shaman most of the time.
All right, awesome. So, Caldy, do you have any questions for Dog?
I guess, were you expecting Aggro Shaman out of the last series?
Yeah, I saw. What did I see first?
Trog, yeah, I
Tunnel
think.
Shrug.
Yeah, I saw a tunnel trog. I was like, oh shit, this is aggro, and then turned out to be like double scarab. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose on value. So I like try to play as greedy as I can.
Yeah, it was a tough call though. We were having you favored against Thais just based on the lineup. I mean, things were looking good, but I felt
Yeah.
you were taking that series on even draw, but the things just really fell apart when you started drawing with that priest deck there.
Yeah. I don't know. The priest deck, yeah, it shouldn't have lost to the shaman, but I mean, his hand is really good, so that can happen. But I don't know. The patron deck, I'm not sure if I should have brought because it hasn't been performing for me very well. Like even on ladder, I don't know. Maybe I built it wrong or something, but I don't know. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
Well,
And congrats on making it through here.
Yeah.
all right, so I guess last question. Who are you maybe not looking forward to facing in the finals? Currently, we have Kalento, Eloise, Life Coach, Firebat, Tom60229, and Jay Shaw, and potentially either Tice or Braros joining you if you make it through. So who are you wanting to face maybe? Who are you potentially afraid of? Who you want to just, beat?
I'm pretty scared of. I mean, those are all very good players. I think Firebat and Life Coach are probably going to be the hardest, and then probably Tice if he makes it through, which he probably will. But yeah, I think those are probably the players I am actually intimidated to play against. Not to say that Clento isn't good or anything. It's just I've had a pretty good record against him for some reason.
So against, depending on the Thais matchup goes, you'll face either Tom or Kalento. Which one would you prefer facing in the round of 8 and why?
I don't know. To me, it doesn't matter. Both of them are fun. I'll crush them.
All right, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs or last words?
Yeah, just all the Liquid sponsors. They're cool people. They let me do what I want, and yeah, that's about it.
All right, thanks very much, Doug.
Oh, Just saying as
Sorry?
well. You helped me. Just saying. You helped
All
me.
right. Thank you very much for just saying to helping out, Dog. Get the victory here. And thank you very much for the interview, and we wish you luck tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.